Hey guys, if you're here and you're wondering if Facebook ads still work and produce results that are profitable, well, stay tuned because I'm going to break down my experience with Facebook ads over the last 6 months, going through a number of different campaigns so that hopefully I can help you guys stay on the right track. Hey guys, my name is Chris Morano, Chief Executive Officer at Blue Water Marketing, a digital agency in South Florida. And as I mentioned, Facebook ads in 2022. What do they look like? What do the results look like? So in this video, I'm diving into the data on a handful of our different accounts to show you guys the immense variations of results that we're seeing. Unfortunately, it's just not 2017, 18, 19 anymore. It's not. Facebook has changed. They keep blaming Apple. I'm not quite sure. We're seeing just a shift in the whole paradigm of what Facebook ads are. And I'm going to tell you, it's not a clear-cut answer as no, they don't work, or yes, they do work. There's a ton of variety across the board on data, A/B tests, bid caps, strategy, like nothing makes sense anymore. And so before we go any further, if you guys like this video, if you're looking for information on digital marketing, subscribe to this channel. I keep putting out content every single week to try to help explain all of this to you guys. So at the moment, we're working with a number of different companies running Facebook and Instagram ads. And so let's jump into the data here to show you guys some of the numbers that are so different with the same audiences. So as you can see, this is one of our campaigns, and we have built out multiple different audiences, ad sets, lookalikes, and going through the difference of data is telling me something is off. So if you can see, per landing page views, very similar, and then all of a sudden they shoot up. So the first thing that we've noticed are that when we test, we will test the exact same audience with bid caps. What we're finding is that the CPMs are drastically different. We will see a $17 CPM, and in the same exact ad set, within the same exact campaign, we're seeing a $43 CPM. Double the cost to reach 1,000 people. The other thing that I'm noticing is the cost per purchase is gotten way higher than it was 2 years ago. So on average, if our cost per acquisition for a new customer was around $12 or $13, it was sufficient with an average order value of $40 to $50, $60. Now we are seeing cost per purchase upwards of $100, $136, with an average order value staying the same at $50 or $60. So what we're finding is that the cost to advertise and acquire that customer is way higher on Facebook than it was 2 years ago. And again, we could say that this is because of iOS and Apple and all this privacy, or it could be that people are leaving Facebook, or it could be that there are better alternatives out there delivering at a lower cost. And if you're looking for one of those potential opportunities, I just made a video all about a Google Max performance campaign, which we are seeing cost per acquisitions much lower than we are on Facebook. So overall, up to this point, the variance in data is just substantial. And like I said, we test things to a T. So these CPMs against the same audiences, we're scratching our head because it's the same placements, same creative, same audiences. The only slight variation is the cost cap bid strategy, which is only a $2 variance, which should not equate to the double the cost of CPMs. The next item, and this is clear as day, is the data is just a disaster across the board. So what we're seeing in Facebook is completely different than what we're seeing on our e-commerce or our lead gen CRMs. For example, one of our subdivisions of Blue Water Marketing, where we focus on a very niche service in order to capture those leads, is connected to a CRM in which we have all of the contacts of the people who have opted in or who have reached out to contact us for their marketing. Facebook is showing us over the last 21 days, we have had 80 leads. Our CRM, which is a direct API connection with Facebook to go into the CRM, is showing 62 leads. And you might say, well, Chris, 80 leads versus 62 over a 21-day period, like, great job. And yes, we're very happy with those results, especially the cost per lead being roughly $6.24. But The difference, 80 to 62, is still large enough that there's a big percentage of difference there. And so if you are an e-commerce store owner and you're seeing, 80 purchases, let's scale that campaign up, but in reality, it's only 60 purchases, well, now your whole target ROAS, your ROAS is completely off because the data isn't true. It doesn't equate to the amount of purchases you have coming through the funnel. The next unfortunate event that has taken place is with all of the targeting being eliminated, both interest-based as well as lookalikes, is that our lookalike audiences just do not work anymore. Previously, we would test out very segmented audiences based on the lookalikes and custom audiences that we have developed. Over the last 6 to 8, 12 months, those lookalike audiences are essentially useless to use. We find that the CPMs are so high that even advertising on the bottom of the funnel is just not worth it. Again, going back to what I said earlier, the cost per acquisition has gone way up on Facebook. Lastly, my way of scaling, which I just created a video here all about Facebook ads scaling techniques. Previously, it was what we called vertical scaling, in which we would find a winning ad set, audience, lookalike audience, custom audience, and scale that incrementally based on the results we were getting. Now we have shifted to horizontal scaling because the audiences that we used to really rely on, like I said, aren't effective anymore. And so now by horizontal scaling, we find an interest that works, we add another interest, and by doing so, we increase the bid. It's not what I like doing because I don't know who the people are that are making these ads successful, but based on all the privacy things, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to find those people again. So by horizontal scaling, we're increasing interests, increasing budgets, and continue to do that until the ads fall off the face of the earth and no longer work, which is the next thing I want to talk about. Facebook's learning process is taking way longer, and I'm finding it to be way less effective. When I say that, I'm talking about the learning or learning limited. What I'm finding is that anytime we're launching new ad sets, we don't get out of the learning limited unless we have a massive budget, $100 a day to test. So for a business owner who is just testing out Facebook's, to know that you are going to be spending a minimum of $3,000 a month to try to get out of this learning phase is really difficult to try to sell. And with that, what we're finding is the first 4 or 5 days, we are getting a very good cost per action. After that learning limited kicks in, our ads are plummeted. So what we're doing is duplicating new campaigns, same everything, increasing that budget by maybe $4 or $5 a day to see if that will generate enough of the actions that we need to take in order to exit the learning phase successfully. And we have done that. We actually did that with Blue Water as well as a couple other clients, in which those campaigns are continuing to run very effectively. And like I said, we're doing the horizontal scaling. It's just a challenge to get out of that learning phase. More challenging than the last couple of years on Facebook. So I know this is top level just based on the number of clients we work with. I'm trying to share some insights with you guys as to what we're seeing. There are still people out there saying, we're getting you 7x ROAS. Okay, you're great. We test so many different things, including, if you've noticed, recently Facebook's talking about the ad copy length and that you're using too many characters. We are literally testing whether or not Facebook wants us to use less characters or if they truly are not effective. All of these different things, the changes that are taking place almost on a weekly basis right now with Facebook, I'm leaning towards shifting gears back to Google. What we're seeing is Google still remains the most consistent way of driving traffic. Now there is TikTok ads, which we have not yet explored, and we will down the line. But for now, we like predictable results for our accounts, and we're seeing Facebook and Instagram not being so predictable. It's much more of a toss in, see what we get out of it. And when you're a performance-based marketing agency, tossing in to see what happens doesn't work very well, and our churn rate starts to increase. And we have clients that have been with us for years, so we do not like high churn rates. Therefore, I don't believe Facebook and Instagram is the most effective bang for your buck any longer. If you guys are finding this video useful, hit the like button, subscribe, putting out content every single week to help you guys out. Hit that bell button every time my face pops up with a new video. So overall, if you have a tight marketing budget, if you are testing, by all means, you can use Facebook, and it will help you identify interests, creative assets, and you will get some traffic to your website. Whether or not that traffic converts is really based on your website, but know that the data you're seeing in the Facebook Business Manager might not be the data you want to be looking at. Instead, look at your WooCommerce, your Shopify dashboard, your CRM if you're a lead gen company, so that you can have some correlation of this many people came this day, this many people purchased, and you can have an understanding of who is purchasing. I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, like I said, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next week.